So thank you very much, guys. I will start by asking Henry, as a startup founder of a company that's actually at the forefront of kind of leveraging AI, perhaps you could tell us how Curacell is using AI to drive insurance inclusion, especially in underserved markets in Africa.
Thank you very much for that question. I think for us, the answer to that starts from what our vision as a company is. And my background is in IT, not insurance. So my CTO's background is in healthcare. He's a medical doctor and a technology guy. And so when we started the business, what we were really trying to do, we're tech guys, and we're asking ourselves, where do we create the most impact? There were a few industries we could do that. One was in healthcare, financial services. And so our goal at Curacell was really that we saw where insurance penetration was, and we were asking ourselves, how can we help the industry? And one of the problems we identified was that a bulk of how insurance works right now is really B2B, right? And to be able to get insurance penetration to the bottom of the pyramid, you really need to be talking about the bulk of the retail customers. And to be able to do that, you can't have a high cost of either distribution or high cost of running operations. So that means, digitization and like a strong level of automation has to be core to doing business. You can't have, claims managers spend 5 minutes on a claim form when as an insurance company, you get, hundreds of thousands of claims a month and so on and so forth. So for us, the answer to that question is that, we need to start looking at models of operating insurance businesses where the cost of doing business is radically low. And, one of the technologies that allow us to do that is really AI.
Thank you. Thank you, Henry. And for you, Marcy, actually, I'd like for you to speak to us about Beta Lab and the innovation and how you envisage using AI, partnering with startups perhaps that are operating in that space to offer insurtech solutions that can change the narrative.
Okay. Thanks for that question. And first, I'd like to take a minute maybe to explain what Beta Lab is. So Beta Lab is Britam's corporate accelerator program, where we work with startups to find a way of supporting them in being able to bring out innovations within the insurance industry. So we work with insurtechs and fintechs. So we launched this year, and we've been in operation, I think, now for 1.5 years or so. So we've been able to test some things here and there, and I can be able to say that at least right now we have some cohorts that are currently being incubated in a training and mentorship program. So we support startups also in terms of mentorship. And from there, at least we can be able to ensure that we are bringing change within this insurance industry. So what do I see? How do I see AI being? How is Beta Lab actually setting frontiers in this AI space? We actually have one product that is out there. It's the first one in the market with AI care. Telematics. So what it does is it's a mileage-based product. And I think what we've been able to see there is that it's revolutionizing how insurance is actually being taken up. And even the end-to-end journeys that we currently have, you can see customers can be able to onboard themselves, be able to get discounts on this particular product. And I believe the future is still big for us. So with the data that we be collecting, it means that we can be able to actually provide better solutions. So looking out is that the motor sector, where actually I think some of the presenters here were saying it's a loss-making business. With such innovations and where we can be able to get data, we're actually able to bring out better services to our customers, be able to also have products that are also not so loss making and be able to get revenues from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mercy. And for you, Eugene, we've heard from Britam and their initiatives and the lab. AR Insurance is kind of one of the very big players in healthcare, particularly. And I know that you're leading the charge in digital transformation, particularly with the launch of My Wakal AR. Perhaps you could talk to us about that and also tell us how you see AR further enhancing your digital journey.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I wouldn't go straight to the second part without introducing what My Wakala is. My Wakala simply stands for My Agent. And this is a product that was born out of a gap that we saw that there's been a lot of focus on the control side, maybe thinking of how can we curb fraud, in the insurance space, etc. And we forgot about a very critical stakeholder within our business who accounts actually for about 80% of the business, and that's the distributor or the agent. So this Maiwakala is actually a virtual office for the agent. It's also their digital profile. It's also their digital marketing tool. And virtually, these people can work from anywhere, and it's actually also a force multiplier, especially once you actually link it to your actual social media platforms, and we also looked at the upcoming age, which is the Gen Z. These are the consumers in the next 5 years. These are people who will be buying insurance. And we thought it would be better for us as AI to already prepare even an army of such a distribution force. Start by training them slowly. And we've seen a lot of uptake of that particular solution. For the last 12 months, we've seen about 2 billion of quotation go out through that particular channel, and which is very promising. Now, what further enhancements are we doing on that particular tool? Now that it is already there, we now are looking at what data we are collecting through it, merging that with what we've collected through the other traditional channels, being able to do things like recommendations. So we're looking at what was the best performing agent on the platform, and then driving those recommendations to the rest of the agents within the group so they can have learnings on that and also take that to the market. The other thing that we are doing is that the tool also has a digital marketing platform where the back end people provide this team with the marketing material that they would then post, to customize, personalize to whoever they interact with on their social media platforms, and then push that through. So we're also bringing in AI tools to be able to now auto-generate this marketing content and even possibly schedule through robotic processes, schedule these things, having analyzed when best we are receiving a lot of leads from whatever they are churning out through the platform.
Yeah. And we know that the industry struggles with a lot of fraud. So having such a tool, how have you incorporated fraud to enable the agents be able to, distinguish real and fraudulent claims? Is there such features, or is it more enabling the agents to push products?
Yeah, because it's mainly for the agents and not on the claim side, which I'll talk of later. So it has an agent ranking tool, and this ranking is actually done by the clients themselves who come in on board. The ranking also is based on previous experiences on those agents, data that we have around the experience of those agents. And therefore, this client, as they interact with the agent online, they'll be able to now know, is this a valid agent? How do they score? What does AR say about this agent in terms of their rankings? Yeah.
Okay. So Diana, how is Leadway leveraging AI? What's your digital customer experience journey like? What's the story in Nigeria? Giving us we've got an understanding of large players here in Kenya. So we really would like to know from a Nigerian perspective and see how we can share across experiences.
Great. So I'll start with introducing who Leadway is, because as you said, I'm in Kenya, I'm Kenyan. But I understand that the audience is majorly Kenyan. Leadway is a non-banking financial services group. We have our Leadway Assurance arm that has both life and GI. Then we have our HMO, Leadway Healthcare. Then we're also in the pensions business, asset management, capitals and trust as well. And where we've started with our AI application, we started with our largest business, which is the assurance arm. And we identified 2 use cases. The low-hanging fruit is what we've already seen presented earlier on, the RPA. But what we did different is that we combined it with AI. So the bot fetches the emails, the right emails for claims registration. And then the AI reads the emails and the attachments. And we also heard about how the attachments usually come in different formats, handwritings that cannot necessarily be read, so there's no standard way of how claims are made. So the AI helps us with that. Then the bot, once the AI has identified the claims, the bot then allocates the claims to the right teams. That's where we started from. The reason why we started from there is because that used to take us a lot of man hours just trying to go through the email, sieving through that. And now the next phase is automating the entire claims process. But because of the sheer size of different products that we have, the complexities of the claims processes, we are in the process of just mapping all that out so that then we can be able to layer on the AI automation. The second use case was more for the bottom line. We are big in annuities. We are the largest in the market with our annuity products. And we didn't have a way of verifying that our annuitants are still alive. So we were making all these payments
to dead people.
And we couldn't verify, are they dead? Are they still alive? So we needed, it's people all over the country. Nigeria is huge. So how do you get people to give you proof of life, their certificate of existence? We needed to come up with a clever way around that. So what we did is we got an AI-powered voice biometric system where now we get to know it is really you based on your voice characteristics, because they're all unique to each one of us. And it did hit the bottom line positively in this way. Previously, we had to make significant provisions for this annuitants. We are paying all this, but, it's likely the majority of them are dead already. So what happened is that now we have an AI-powered verification process. It's easier for us to then, have less provisions for that. So that's where we are for now.
Okay. Ali, I know you're the founder of Ali Talks Tech and quite passionate about the African tech story. So I want to hear from you. How is AI reshaping the fintech landscape in Africa? We know that insurance innovation is maybe 10, 15 years behind fintech, if we were to remove insurance from fintech. So what opportunities do you see for insurance startups to leverage AI and basically insurance innovation to capture into this AI trend?
So firstly, let me just clarify that InsurTech is part and parcel of fintech. And I would like to cover this in 2 ways. One, how can we address insurance penetration growth using artificial intelligence and new technologies? 2, how can we use AI to disabuse insurance companies of the fact that your internal processes need not be at the detriment of customer experience? I don't know whether you guys are getting me. Okay, so let's first deal with penetration rates. From a Pan-African perspective, insurance penetration rates are less than 3%. So why is that? Number one, from where I sit, and having interacted with lots of insurance professionals, we come from a glass half empty as opposed to a glass half full perspective. Okay? So always looking for fraud. Always looking, how are we going to stop fraud instead of how are we going to serve our customers better? So AI can sort a lot of those issues, making mundane, repetitive processes faster, more accurate, right? From a claims perspective, I think my brother here has talked about that. But unfortunately, we give lip service to this. We're actually not doing it. Too much lip service. And I'm really glad to hear my sister talking about how that is already happening in her group. I think we need to move that needle much faster. From that penetration rate, every time I think about a insurance product, more often than not, the pain of actually buying that product in most cases, and I'm not saying it's all insurance companies, but generally, it's less painful going to a dentist. It's a fact. I mean, I'll give you very simple process of getting travel insurance. Come on, guys, just get me a portal. Let me plug in. Let me give me whatever KYCs you want to give me, but give it to me to my face so that I can. It shouldn't take less than 10, 15 minutes, right? So we need to deal, and artificial intelligence is becoming such an interesting conversation to have. Actual, real use cases. Simple stuff like, engagement on WhatsApp. We sometimes, so when I was sitting here today, I'm like, I mean, honestly, why are we talking about even artificial intelligence when we haven't even scratched the surface on the other technologies? But, for the sake of this panel, let's talk about artificial intelligence, right? So there are such huge opportunities to be able to free up intelligent human resources within insurance companies to do more value intelligent stuff than somebody ticking boxes on basic forms to do with claim forms and stuff like that. I mean, have you ever looked at an insurance claim form? I mean, it is intimidating just looking at it, even before you start. How can we automate these processes? The other day, I was speaking to a super interesting startup that is already doing some interesting stuff with insurance companies, and they have automated this whole process of going through inspections to do with accidents and stuff like that. And they have, over the couple of years, they have picked and documented specific car parts. So forget about those car parts that, the part numbers that you see from the major car manufacturers. Those don't work in Africa, FYI, yeah? If you go down to Grogan Road, Kirinyaga Road here, and start asking for a car part from Toyota, hey, watch out too. So these guys, what they have done is they have accumulated all this stuff, and what they've done is then they've created a portal where these assessors and all that, all they need to do is log in, take photos, compare those with a specific part that they have created. vitu kwa ground, yeah, stuff on the ground, not. And then what they do is they have created all this data that then measures and compares. So if today you have bought a lamp, a lamp from Toyota X for 3,000 shillings, that's logged in. Tomorrow, somebody else cannot buy the same thing at 5,000 shillings because the system quickly checks the best service provider and the best cost aligned. And all this is done using all these artificial intelligence models. And this is a Kenyan startup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are seeing lots of interesting stuff going on. So I can go on and on.
Yes.
But,
Thank you for your perspective. And then when you mentioned, you'd like a platform where you log in, I kind of see the future of insurance as, first of all, open insurance. I don't even heard of such
100%.
initiatives, open banking, open insurance, where actually Jubilee, Britam, AR share the data that they have. That actually curbs majority of these issues we talk about, fraud, and embedded insurance, because there's this old tired saying around insurance is sold and it's not bought. And I think someone mentioned that, they sell fear. But what if I didn't have to think about buying insurance? What if I buy stuff and then you actually plug in at that point? And that brings me to perhaps the last question, which is embedded insurance, which I think is a huge trend. And perhaps I want to know from Henry, perhaps through partnerships like Alerts, how do you think AI could actually push that narrative for embedded insurance? And this, I really want the insurance companies in the room to kind of try and learn, because, we talk about all these big things and innovation, but a few things like embedded insurance can really be game changers. So perhaps let's learn from Henry, who's actually doing it.
I'm sure they already
as well, yes.
Adopting it. So again, the bulk of our business is using AI to do claims in health and car insurance. But I said a small part of our business is really helping some of our existing partners grow their business. Because the vision of our company is to help grow insurance on the continent, we started out in cutting costs. But we also got a bit impatient around how much cost can we cut and how do we get to a place where it can get to everybody? And so, in line with, again, the core of what we do, which is digitizing, we saw that a lot of the insurance companies wanted to go to market in new channels or through new channels. But because they had legacy systems, it was taking them forever to be able to do that. We looked at a few use cases. Jumia and AXA went to market and trying to embed insurance in their e-commerce. It took them about 2 years. They spent a couple of millions, eventually shut it down in a few markets. Maybe it's up in 1 or 2 now. And then we saw that it wasn't really scalable for, all the other insurance companies to invest the amount of time, invest the amount of energy. And so with our embedded insurance offering, what we were really trying to do was to provide the infrastructure that allows an insurance provider to go to market in a couple of days instead of years. And so whilst the bulk of how that technology works is just allowing an insurance company to become nimble and have microservices architecture, right? So saying, okay, cool, you don't need to change your whole ERP because you now want to partner with a bank or because you want to partner with a fintech. You can just plug this thing and play. And so we started doing it. When we started, again, because insurance is, again, a risk mitigation industry, they're also not the best adopters of technology in the beginning. So we evolved with our model. So we ended up being a broker in the beginning. We're a broker in 10 markets. We got licensed in a few of those. And, we started going direct to these channel partners to say, Alat, which you mentioned, is a big Nigerian bank, Wema Bank, and started saying, okay, cool, we can think about some of the use cases where you can put insurance, and get it to your customers. It's slightly different from bank insurance, which is where you walk into a bank and then they give you a loan. They say the insurance must be on this. We have a captive audience, and let's proactively get products to them. So with that use case, what happens over here? Allah has about 5 million customers. And so with our infrastructure, they were able to enable their customers. So when you go to the Alert app, you click on insurance, you can click on a loan, and then it can give you a loan. You click on insurance, and then it gives you a couple of providers, and then you can click through and buy insurance from any of those. And so the use case for AI in that sense is where you can start to, again, we're not fully there yet because we're still in stage 1, but the use case where we would want to get to in stage 2 is where right now what happens is when you click on that, everybody sees health insurance, everybody sees car insurance, everybody sees P&A, PA. But what would be the best would be for Henry to be able to see a certain type of insurance based on his transactions, based on his own real-time activity. You saw I just bought a phone, or you saw I just passed a certain place, and you can offer me something, which is what the promise of AI is that you can have customized insurance experiences. You don't price Ali and Henry the same way because we don't behave the same way. Our risk is not the same. You don't offer us the same products because we're not the same. We don't live in the same places. And so one of the challenges, because again, we've been in this space for a few years, but one of the challenges we see is that products are not being created based on actual data and based on actual user base. We work in we're right now in 10 markets across the continent. We're starting to go beyond the continent into a bit of the Middle East and America. But one of the things we see that Africa differentiates from all these other places is that, an insurance company brings up a price. The other one just reduces the price small and then puts the same product. Another one reduces it and brings out. So very few people are actually creating products and underwriting properly. So that's where on the embedded insurance side, we see that insurance can play a huge role. Personalization and better product recommendation.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I also see a lot of opportunity for insurtech startups, perhaps, to even offer insurance services to fintechs because they are innovative companies. So
bulk of what we do. Yeah. So lending companies, like we provide our APIs to them and they can embed insurance into their product.
Amazing. I see we're running out of time. So I have these segments which I try to have a bit of fun in the middle of work. So you guys were not ready for this, but I'm sure you can hack this. So I want us to step away from insurance for a little bit. And I'm going to ask quick fire questions here. Eugene, if AI could take over one of your daily tasks to give you more free time, which task would you happily hand over? Quick fire question. So first thing that comes to mind.
I think it's the planning for the future.
Sorry?
Planning for my future.
Okay.
Yeah.
AI can do that.
Yeah.
Ali, if you could teach an AI to master one thing from the African culture, what would it be?
Dancing.
Wow.
Dancing.
Sorry?
Dancing.
Dancing.
African dance.
AI can do that. Mercy, if AI could recommend the perfect vacation spot based on your work week, where do you think it would send you?
Based on how
your work week.
Work week.
Yeah.
Wow. It would
Quick fire. Mercy.
maybe where I want to go.
Yeah.
Bali, sorry. Yeah, Bali.
AI co-pilots can plan a trip from you beginning to end. So AI can do that. Let me see. Diana, if AI could predict one trend about the future of insurance, sorry, I'm back to insurance with you in Africa that you're most excited about, what do you hope it would be?
Oh, it's definitely embedded insurance. I think that's a future for the industry.
Okay.
That's what I'm most passionate about.
Okay. And Henry, if you could give AI one superpower, what would it be and why?
Wow. That's the hardest one. I don't know. Reading human minds.
Reading human minds. Can AI do that? It can.
Yeah, I think you probably can do that now to some extent because it's just data, right?
It's just predictive stuff. If you go to Amazon and buy a blue T-shirt today, tomorrow it's going to recommend.
It's already doing that based on your behavior online.
Exactly.
To some extent, so.
Yeah. So final questions just to end this. Again, I like people to get to know my panelists a little bit more because outside of AI and insurance, I think this kind of sparks conversations after. So Eugene, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, but also just before I think
fire. It's quick fire.
Okay.
Quick fire.
You'll give me just a few moments after this. I think there's what Mr. Ali mentioned. I think I need to respond before we wrap up. Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think there was a question of we are very slow in adopting some of these technologies, and I think we have a habit at AR of setting that next agenda. And I'm glad to say about 90% of our policy is totally outsourced. We don't process any claim. And it's glad to say that the technology partner who's doing that is sitting here, and I've seen the presentation of this technology. So from January this year, we don't have any claim, internal claim processing department. So what data we are getting from what we are collecting from that then is informing now the product development side of things. And another one I saw early post, I think it was either on LinkedIn or somewhere. I think he praised that the people are now moving to digital solutions, the phone access to point of service. And he asked, why do we still have the claim form? And I think I wish to promise him that within our ecosystem, you'll first see a claimless process at the hospital in the next 3 months. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, back to my quick fire questions as we close. Diana, work from home or office?
Both.
Both? Okay.
I work from anywhere, exactly.
Okay. Ali, read a book or watch a movie?
Read a book.
Read a book.
Mercy, texting or talking?
Talking.
And finally, Henry, be very careful about this. Android or iPhone?
Oh, that's not even a question. iPhone.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. So a round of applause for my panelists. Thank you.